do with a table tomorrow or something.
Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, once again, it's a late night live stream because we had family members that we need to make sure as well. One family member in dire straits at the hospital, and we need to be there. So that's why I'm late, but you understand. And tonight, war, get rich or die trying. Opportunity knocking, ladies and gentlemen. Wealth is here to build, and you should not miss this train. You guys see those stocks going up, stocks going down, Bitcoin rising back up. That was all opportunities if you were at the right place at the right time. Get in position. It's going to happen now in the next 24 hours, even overnight. So we're going to give you the tools, and they'll be down below in the chat room. And welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for information. I do know 8 out of 10 people watching this are living paycheck to paycheck. So it only behooves me to do one thing. First, share the videos. Let other people know about us. Second, findhelp.org. If you're inside of America, put in your zip code. And there are nonprofits that can help you with a myriad of things. That's financial. That's not even financial, like mental health, caregiving health, healthcare, job training, and a lot of other things depending on where you live. If you live closer to a major city, more services for zero cost or a little bit of cost are available to you. That could even include rental help, energy bill help, mortgage help. That's right, Americans. The United States government doesn't like to tell you these things, but there's plenty of help around. You have to ask and you have to know where to get it. Courtesy of Matthew Lesko. He's the one, the late night infomercial guy that always talked about grants. He's the man that came on 2 years ago. So if you can find that video, you should go watch it. We did something that was awesome live when he said late night and we were talking about mental health. And I said, come on, man, it's like 10 o'clock at night. And he says, so I said, okay, I'm going to call your bluff. Let me pick up the phone and call. Sure enough, somebody answered. People were there. Can we help you? Do you need help now? Do you need somebody to call or come pick you up now? I was like, oh my, that works. Awesome. So just so you know, if you need help or know someone that needs that type of help, you need findhelp.org. And if you want to get grants and other financial help, Lesko Help, Lesko Help, HELP.com. He does have a membership and he has thousands of people. And those people, if you write in a chat room that you need help with something, Because a lot of these people have been doing it for years, they will send you information that's not at findhelp.org. That's right. Is it worth it to pay? Yes. Is it worth it to pay $20 a month? No. But is it worth it to pay $59 or $60 for the year? Why pay 20 a month if it's 60 for the year if you want to be in that membership group? It's worth it. A lot of people are going to need help. Let's go help. And you can always put who did you hear it from if they ask for, there's no referral thing, but just put in SSN Nation. Stop struggling now. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we do. We help people. That's what we do. EV Place, talking about helping people. He helps people with his knowledge and information that he shares here every live stream pretty much. He's, everybody can't be in every live stream, but he's here to help you, ladies and gentlemen, and me. And welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream, EV Place. And he says, war never changes. Good evening is his tagline. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the truth of the matter. What is the ends of the means to war? Control, resources, ideologies. Unfortunately, it's all of the above. But tonight, I'm not trying to go off on the rant. We're going to concentrate on when there is war. There's blood literally in the streets. So therefore, markets go up, down for so many different reasons. And it could be something happens right as we speak. It could be something happens early morning, something that happens tomorrow afternoon. The markets will react. If all of a sudden you start blowing up some oil rigs, obviously markets are going to react. Gas price is going to go up. If you are actually in the stock market, which you should be, like EV Place, then you should be thinking what's going to happen. And by the way, let's just get to something right now. Think about something. When they start blowing up oil wells and there's a war, what do you think happens, ladies and gentlemen? Just use your common sense. It's not rocket science. You don't have to do that much research. That usually means somebody's going to start storing oil out of the way, meaning those tankers, right? Nordic, DH, it's not DHS, it's I can't remember the name of it. DHT, they give out dividends. All right? Nordic tankers, they have stocks. They give out dividends. Their stock prices rise in incidences like this. Storage of oil. So they can get it out of the region in case people start blowing up oil wells. All right? Just keep that in mind. EV Place says the rich get richer, the poor get to another side. Exactly. He's understanding the war situation. That's why I had to start this off tonight with the war, because that right there affects so many people. And he said it exactly right. The rich get richer because guess what? They own the bombs, the planes, the trains. They own everything that's going to be needed. They also own companies that have materials to supply the war machine. Then they have manufacturing. Then they have government contracts, taxpayers that you pay for. They get subsidies that you also pay for. And they get tax cuts and tax breaks that you're going to have to pay their share or part and mostly of their share. Meanwhile, 8 out of 10 people. And quite frankly, when the 2025 numbers come out, I would not be surprised if it mirrors Canada, which is 8.5 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck. So, long as you know that, the rich are going to get richer when there's war, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why you need new skill sets. We've talked about it here. Palantir is rebounding. Of course it is. AI for military contracts. Exactly. Oh, and it's more than that. They have surveillance. They're doing your facial recognition as Palantir. They're doing online AI surveillance. They're going to the cameras They're doing everything. Your fingerprints, everything is Palantir. And the government likes Palantir. So their stock, they're one of the chosen ones. You should have bought on the dip. If you didn't, okay, there's going to be another dip, but you got a target. You're going to have to study. Just saying. Now, I'm going to help out a little bit today. That's why you're going to bring your pen, pads, and papers handy. All right. Double hull tankers is DHT, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go look at them right now. Let's see what's happening with them. Their stock price dropped, which means now they're giving a dividend of 8.81%. Okay. Let me go see Nordic. What is it? Nordic tank. I can't. Their symbol is NAT, I believe, but we'll find out. Let's see. Yeah, Nordic American Tankers is NAT. They stayed almost level, 0.17%, slight 8.13% dividend. Their dividends have come down slightly over the year, which I am not investing in neither one of these at the moment, but keep your eye on. Frontline also down to 4.85% dividends. So it looks like these guys have cut their dividends, which is understandable because when you don't have that much oil in storage, then your price generally goes down because you can't charge that much when it's receding. But nonetheless, Palantir rebounding is no shocker. They're part of the defense. I won't even get into it because Peter Thiel got honorary lieutenant colonel in the military. Yeah, just didn't have to earn it. DEI, because he owns a company. Him and two other company executives got let in. Honor. Unbelievable. This is what I'm talking about. They bypassed the system because they're rich guys. They didn't earn nothing, but yet now they get to control you. They didn't earn it. You didn't vote for it, but they're going to be controlling your life from this point on. Don't think they're the good guys. I'm not going with some immigrants from South Africa as the good guys, trying to turn America into South Africa. No, they're not the good guys. All right. The descendants of the EU and the descendants of Belgium. No, they're not the good guys when have 2 million people and you're the minority and you control them and kill them for 50, 60 years. I'm not down with you, right? And just because you own a corporation also doesn't mean I'm going to be down with you because you're a rich guy. Let's get real. All right. That's why I have no problem. Good humans doing business the right way and helping people is great. When I have a guy like this, he has bad intentions because he grew up in bad intentions. And him, Elon Musk, and there's another one. They're all from South Africa and they operate accordingly. So they're going to use their stuff to hurt USA citizens. Just keep that in mind. And that's why facial recognition and all that other stuff, they're going to make a lot of money on it. So 2 things you can do. Either you're down with them, helping them, and making money at the same time, or you go the other side and spend your money with some other company. But it's up to you. Now, I got to admit, even though I said what I said, I invested in Palantir, but that was a while back. I invested in Yomax ETFs, PLTY. So that helped them. But now I am divested of Palantir because once I understood that these guys get in the army or military, whatever, and they get DEI, you're a lieutenant colonel for Mr. Thiel without having to go through any basic training, any training at all, nothing at all, just you're in because we're giving you government contracts. I'm like, hold up, man. I can't rock with you guys because I know what you're doing. And that's why we have a certain thing here. You need to figure out whatever you're doing. You need to control your own destiny at this point. America is the land of the free until you're not free any longer. All right. Just keep that in mind. You want to be free? Then you need to put yourself in a position where you're controlling everything. Let's start this off right now. I'm going to tell you guys after the findhelp.org, right? I'm going to tell you to do one other thing. It's the unstoppable domain. Why unstoppable domain? Go to Web3 because they kind of changed their website. So go to Web3. I'm putting it in the chat room. Okay. So everybody that watches in replay, make sure you hit the comments section and swipe left or right, and it'll start moving a menu and it'll allow you to see the live chat. And you'll find the unstoppable domain link. Go over there, Web3, spend the 5, 10, 20 bucks, whatever your domain that you want, one-time payment. There is no annual fee on Web3. It's a one-time, you mint it to the blockchain, and they still give it for free on the Polygon blockchain. So that means you own it in your wallet. The reason why some of you may not understand this is because now if you say stopstrugglingnow.crypto and I say send me some crypto, you can send it to stopstrugglingnow.crypto. You don't have to, I don't have to give you an alphanumeric character. Okay, so there's a air of security because the only person that's going to know what the transaction hash is the person that sends it from their wallet because they'll know their alphanumeric character. Then they can go on the blockchain and see, obviously, one of my alphanumeric characters. So they'll know, oh, okay, this is one of them that takes it. But that doesn't mean it goes there all the time. I can change it, right? But my point is, I don't want governments knowing where your crypto is, where your money is, none of that. Sooner or later, you could be in jeopardy. So you want to be able to make money, put it in your hands until you want to release it. You don't want government raiding your house, your bank accounts, your stock portfolios. No, you want everything out of their hands. So anyhow, unstoppable domains. And the other thing about it is it's not on an ISP. So you know what that means? Some of you may not. Let's put it this way. I have a website. Somebody or government comes in and says, I want his website taking down ISP. We have a court order. Okay. Guess what? Your website's coming down because it's on an ISP. Your website, you can have a 2 to a 3 or maybe even a 4 or 5 page website, depending on how much memory or any, how much bandwidth it takes. Guess what happens? It's on the blockchain. It's minted. You own it. They can't come in and say, take it down because there's nobody to say, take it down to. Sorry, it stays up. So just those things by itself is something to consider for $20 or $10 or $15 for life. Just saying. That's why you get an unstoppable domain. Okay. Yeah, we have ssnlifestyle.crypto, ssnlifestyle.nft, stopstrugglingnow.nft, ericbird.crypto, all of it. Because it was only like 50 bucks for all of it. So why not hold it indefinitely? You own it, you minted it, and you can put up a small website. Videos, pictures can't be taken down. Just saying. All right. Sometimes the good guys have to act like good guys. Protect yourself. Now, let's get into the other factors. Because war is out here, you need to study. You go to CNBC, you go to Market Watch, you go watch TV, you watch videos. You need to figure out what's going to work for you if you want to be in this stock trading game, which is one way you can do it, or you can buy defense stocks, Raytheon, right? Lockheed. I mean, you can go over there, Boeing. Okay. You can just Google defense stocks and you could say whenever war breaks out, generally they go up. Just like when war breaks out in the Middle East, what's going to happen? Crude oil should rise. You miss out on that opportunity. But as soon as somebody says ceasefire, we're going to talk. What should oil do? It'll go down. So if you know how to do stock market trades, options, or anything like this should be a heaven dream for you. But if you don't know, here we go. Joshua Tree's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. Man, come on now. I don't know what Joshua Tree means, but let's go, man. I'm very happy you're here in the house once again. welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night late night live stream. We're here. You're here. I appreciate your support. Once again, Joshua Tree and Tay is in the house as well. Thank you so much for being here on the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And Tay says, hey guys, as the tagline. And by the way, EV Plays, thank you so much for being a member of the channel. I humbly appreciate it. That's right. Thank you so much. The Wire. What's that noise in the background? Oh, Wire, we got some hammering going down right now. So unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. We got some movements going on in the house right now. So you guys are going to hear some bank, bank, bank for every now and then. But I hear it all done. So we're all good. The Wire, welcome once again to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. So EV Place. So now oil will go to 100 and we're all going to pay for this war more ways than one. So shall we count the ways? Number one, oil prices are going to rise. But before we can get to the oil prices, every missile that's launched, every use of any mechanicals, drones that is used, every $1 million plane that goes down, three so far, that's 3 million. $1 billion a day is being spent. Guess what, taxpayers? Number one, you're paying. That's right. But hold my beer. Let's give the rich guys tax cuts and tax breaks and subsidies. And let's pay for their share as well. Oh, it's brilliant. That's why you got to be rich or wealthy so you can be in their game. Because it sucks to be 8 out of 10. It really, really sucks. So I'm just saying, that's the first way you're going to pay for it. Already a tab is rolling $1 billion a day. Now, let's get to the oil. The oil at 80, 90, probably 100 by tomorrow if things keep going, if it hasn't reached there already. But $100 means gas station oil is already going to rise. The gas was already in the ground, but the gas stations, they don't care, man. They just go, yeah, another 30, 40 cents. Dumb Americans, y'all will just pay it, even though the oil's already been dropped off. But what the hell? Another 50, 60 cents a gallon, you guys just show up and you know you need it. But let's get real, all right? That is the real part. But I'm going to try and digress into something a little smaller, right? Keep the package a little smaller. So now, ladies and gentlemen, this is not rocket science. This is like child's play, and it should be for everybody. If it's going to cost me more for gas, transportation means trucking. First of all, we have to deliver everything using gas, right? You know, because you don't like electric. Just saying, right? You don't like wind, you don't like electric, some of you, right? So therefore, you need gas, and that means transportation. Trucks use gas, cars use gas. So therefore, it's going to cost more money to deliver the items. That's the first thing. So that means once I deliver the items, I'm going to charge the receiver of those items more because you have to pay for the extra gas. So if gas goes up 10%, 20%, which already it's went up 10%. So if it goes up 25%, that means on delivery, it costs 25% more, right? Not overall, but a portion of that because gas is only a small fraction. But that's the first delivery to you. Now you're the company. After you get it delivered, you paid the extra. Now you have to fix up whatever you're fixing up, and now you have to mail it somewhere. So now that transportation cost, which whether you're using UPS, FedEx, USPS, doesn't matter. They all use gas, whether it's jet fuel or gas in trucks. Amazon, gas, deliveries. Uber, now. DoorDash, now. Your restaurant now gets their food delivered. in trucks. That means price has to go up. In America, because we don't have mass transit, because we're too busy spending $1 trillion on wars every 12 years instead of mass transit. See, now you have to use it the old fashioned way. Line up some cargo and freight, and let's use some coal for some trains. Let's use some high price gas. And as you can see, everything goes up. My groceries are going to go up because that delivery from the trucks to the grocery store goes up. How many, by the way, how many transportation companies went out of business last year, ladies and gentlemen? 10,000? 15,000? 20,000? 30,000? Hey, farmers, that delivery out to the farmers is getting rough out there, isn't it? Them trucks cost an awful lot of money when they only get 12 miles per gallon. Just saying, ladies and gentlemen. So when you start saying, oh man, no big deal about war, hey, the oil that they're seeking and trying to do and all this for nothing, those countries aren't going away, by the way. The people that you're bombing, all they have on their hearts after you then killed their family for no reason other than their natural resources in their country, yeah, they're going to probably feel a little like radicalized, as you guys call it. I don't call it radicalized. I call it get back, payback, time to beat your ass some way, somehow, because you killed my family and friends. You killed my grandmother, grandfather, my uncle, my aunt, my brother. You think I'm going to let that slide for the rest of my life? I don't think so. So when I get to power and I get older, maybe I'll get some get back. Hey, just saying. So then later on, you're going to say who the bad guys are, right? Wife emotionally using my sons after I was trying to teach them the trade. Now they all want work, regular jobs for a living. Judah Barak, unfortunately, unless they have some state jobs or government jobs, or I don't know what other type of jobs, but they would have to have specialty jobs like police, like I hate to say it, ICE, like, well, even ICE is going to be temporary, but nonetheless. But you're gonna have to be in a job that's a job that's needed, in my opinion. AI is coming to take over. You don't get to have a job anymore. They are if people, in fact, Judah Barak, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. You know what you should do? You should go on YouTube because this is Amazon has been using robots for 10 years. You should go on YouTube, pull up some videos about the warehouses at Amazon showing robots picking up items, moving on the floor, zipping, not just slow moving. They're not robots. They're actually like little platforms. And then they have hands that pick stuff up, put it down. Show them the video about what's happening at the Amazon warehouses. There's several. Easy to see. People are showing it because they're losing their jobs as they leave out the door, right? They're like, yeah. And you think UPS, Amazon lays off 40,000 people because of what exactly? That's what they need to know. They don't get to sit out here and go, I'm going to have a job. You're going to have a job only for so long. Have anybody went to any of these fast food restaurants? One of the number one places that employ people at low income levels, but how many people have went to those? You guys already noticing what's happening? They have you come in, you press your order up while they got 2 or 3 people in the back now. Nobody at the front counter asking, hello, welcome to Fat Burger. Can we take your order? No, they're just like machines, computers, boom, boom, boom. And also, there's actual restaurants that don't even have people, but 1 or 2 people while there's flipping burger machines in there. This is what they need to understand. They need to be the ones that program, maybe, that they're an artificial intelligence programming. Now, if you've learned that, that would go a long way, because then you can create your own stuff out of thin air anyhow. But there is no way that if I had any of my kids growing up, that they're going to be sitting there trying to do any regular old job. You better be in the healthcare business. You better be in the industry for satellites or surveillance or something along these lines where our government is going. Because if you're thinking you're going to sit somewhere and work for 25 years on a regular job like you used to, and up until now, 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s jobs, those are over. And since they're over, that means people who used to get paid a livable wage, the job scale is going to come down, which is already happening. People that have degrees, oh man, I wish I could. I can't remember all these numbers. In fact, I'll do this because Judah Barak, this is what we're talking. She's using emotions to keep them under her thinking. She talking to God. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. All right. Well, if you have any communications with them, all you can do is just talk to them. All you can do is just send them information. Hopefully you have information. If they want to go down that path, all you can do is always be the supportive one and say, hey, there's a better way, possibly think about this. Don't demand, just hopefully one of them will say, yeah, you know what, let me check this out. And it'll start making sense, right? So when I grew up, it was all about, people were saying, oh, computers aren't going to be nothing. Nah, nobody will have laptops. Nobody will ever do that. That's a fad. Internet, that's a fad. It won't work. And I'm like, what are you? Now, again, we're in the same situation as you. Friends and families, they talk, you go over, what are you going to be? Oh, well, I think I'm going to do something with computers, the internet. They're like, that ain't going to be around. That's nothing. Yeah, okay. Right. You better get with it. But that's the same mentality for the end of time. When somebody said, we are going to have light bulbs, they said, no, we want that oil lamp outside. They said, nah, that'll never work. No, it won't stay on. You don't have AC. You don't have electricity. It's not going to work that long. Yeah, okay. There's always naysayers for the future. You and the kids have to be on the future. So you got to work for the state government. You got to work in healthcare. But unfortunately, our government said healthcare is no longer a professional job, which now means they want you to pay for higher education because there's new research that comes out. So people have to go learn. But now that hinders them under this administration, I should say regime. So now you have a problem with healthcare, and it's going to get worse. But if you are in the healthcare industry, nurse, doctors, anything like that, you will always have a job. But will you care? Because will you get paid like teachers eventually with hardly any help? Because then you're going to lose people, and you're going to have a lot of people that don't care. And so that's where we go. But again, that's a good field to be in. Computers is always, especially the artificial intelligence and things like this, is a good thing to be in. So, I mean, there's a few things right now that's left, but the one thing is the stock market or financial industries. Because even with AI, the only thing AI can do is do algorithms. They can actually compete against you in some way, but are they really competing against you? Not really. The only people that is competing is nobody, in my opinion, because if the stock goes down or up based on whatever, as long as you understand the reasons why it might happen and why you may enter into a trade based on the information, that information is universal for everybody. So again, I agree with that all kids should learn stock trading at this point. Imagine if your kids were 7, 8, 9, 10 years old and they could do stock trading or learn, and they could see the stock market and pay attention to it for 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. Just learn, not really trade, but at least get them interested so they say, hey, you know what? I kind of like this. I kind of see what's going to happen. Get a conversation, but that's all you can do, man. That's all you can do. And the one thing is, I would say, being a parent that my daughters lived with their mother, um, I will always say this to parents: you cannot talk negative about uh, your significant other in front of your children. That's a no go. All right, no matter what the other parent is doing. So in my case, the other parent was telling my daughters, "Oh, your dad's no good. He's doing this. He's doing that." But I still had to show up, right? Regardless, to show that I would never say nothing negative about their mom, even to this day. All right. But now that they're older, now I can have conversations. Now I can, in their mind, they're thinking, okay, dad might not care or dad might not do something. So that hinders your relationship. But the bottom line is, you still got to show up regardless. Try to show up, even in situations like me where there's holding back, right? Putting stress. So you have to think about what's in the best interest of the children. You don't need to be arguing in front of them. You don't need to be disparaging the other parent, even if the other parent is doing the same thing, because that hurts everybody involved. So that's all I'm going to say. So it's going to be very trying, especially in your situation where the mother is kind of molding them and not listening to you. But you still got to show up, man. That's all I can ever say. All right. Still got to show the love, whether it's just by sending messages, a card, balloons, whatever. I don't know. But just, you got to show up. All right. You got to show up. You can't just send money. You can't just send stuff. You can't send presents. That doesn't replace seeing your parent in the flesh. So even if they live 300 miles away, at least you got to go see them and make an effort. Even if you say, well, I can't see you but every 3 months, or you got to make the effort so they know that you care. Then they listen to you. Then they're willing to say, wait a minute, this guy actually really cares. He's trying. He's doing this. He's doing that. Even though whatever mom or dad says, the ladies, my mom's coming over, or my dad's trying to see me, trying to pick me up, trying to get me. That's how it goes. And then they start listening. Because then they're like, wait a minute, this person cares about me. Just like a stepdad, when he starts showing that he cares about you, the same. Kids just love people that care about them and watch out for them and give them advice, even though they say, but you still got to give the advice. So keep going, man. Don't give up. Don't give up. All right. Don't give up. You know where to go. Tell them, hey, check out the Candlestick Bible from this guy, man. He's pretty cool. SSN Nation. Go check it out. Go to stopstrugglingnow.com and download that PDF. It's about stock trading. Let me know what you guys think about it. Check it out. And if you can just get one of them to look at it and the other one comes in and goes, what are you doing? And then you say, hey, just go look at some charts. Let me see if you can guess what's going to happen on the charts, because you can make money from this without having to work for somebody else. That always is a good thing, right? But you still got to go to school, man. Right? All right. Enough of the advice stuff. If anybody has any insertion into that, that's you guys. Let's go. We trying to help everybody. Gary Wall, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. It's war out here, man. They heavy, brah. Women are manipulative. Hey, man, dude, I live with one of them. Okay, I mean, I got the one that of all time. I'm not going to tell you that story because it's rough. All right, let's just put it this way: you have children, one, and so you're thinking everything's going fine. The woman says, one day you go over, and she goes, "What are you doing over here?" What do you mean? What do you mean? Don't ever stop by ever again. And then you have court orders, it turns into. And now you go over. Okay, I'll give you the story. Now you go over to pick up your daughter. And she closes the door and says, no, you don't get your visitation rights ordered by the court. Can you imagine what I had to do? I'm picking up the phone, calling the police. So now Every time I show up, guess who's with me? Talk about not a very good look. Because now, can you imagine a kid is thinking, wait, dad's taking me away from my mom. And he's using, what, who are these dudes in suits and flashing lights in front of our house every time dad shows up? Yes, every time dad shows up, I'm trying to. Can you imagine? This is what I go through. So again, I know exactly the pain that men or women can have based on who has custody of children. Trust me, I went through it. All right. So it is very heavy and they are very manipulative. And so hopefully I will give the other manly advice. If you're going to have that woman and you think she's going to have your child, you better find out exactly what her plans are for her children. If this woman wants her children to succeed, is she talking going to school? Is she talking about doing things business wise? Is she talking about making sure that they're educated is number one, and making sure that they're healthy, number one and two, 1A, 1B? That's the first stone as far as I'm concerned. So no matter what I'm telling you about how their mother acted with me coming to get my daughters, it ended up being one daughter, then it ended up being two. But that's a whole nother story another day, talking about manipulative. And so the thing is, the one thing about this mother took no mess about messing with the daughters. Protected, made sure schooling's number one, activities gone top, made sure. But yes, I can call, talk to them. I can call, no problems regarding that. The problem was when I come to go visit and take them away from her. Next thing I know, I'm getting a call an hour later. Is everything all right? What are you talking? But I didn't say nothing in front of the kids. Hey, everything's fine. You want to talk to them? Right? Always on the mom's side, she can act any way she wants. On my side, yeah, you want to talk to them? Fine. Here. And then, of course, whatever she's asking them, I don't really care because all they're saying is stuff. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, we went here. Yeah, we had a great time. Yeah. But she's still in her fear. But I didn't mind. I didn't hang up the phone and say it's my time and all this. No, no, Hey, your mom's calling. Here, she wants to talk to you. No problems, right? Number one. So yeah, man, they're manipulative. It can happen. Men can be manipulative too, right? It goes on both sides. It takes two, ladies and gentlemen. But your partner, you need to know beforehand because I will give their mom one thing. She made sure my daughters were safe, no shenanigans, and they made sure they went to school because I did not have them full time at any time. She would never give it up. In court, because I lived in California, was so effed up, they would only give me 4 days a month. And that was the times I'm fighting. But as we got a little older, then I would call up and say, hey, what's up? What's the girls doing? Can I come over? Why don't they stay with me for the night or something? Stuff like that. Then finally she would loosen up a little bit, regardless of the court order. But the fact of the matter is she used that for 6 years. Crazy, at least 6 years, 6, 7 years. It was crazy. It's bad. I mean, but we have I have relationships with my daughters because of it, but it's not as it would have been if their mom wasn't interfering. But my daughters turned out great. All of them. I have 3 daughters. They all turned out great. Geez, that's tough, says Terry O'Veal. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Yeah, if we start talking about family, one of these times we should get into it because, again, I was just very thankful that their mom was top notch. The daughters were number one, safe. And that's what more can you ask for? And their mom actually was in the healthcare industry and still is to this day. So she's worked in the hospital for 30, in fact, it could be like 40 years, something like that. It's crazy. Um, but They turned out fine. And one of my daughters is a psychologist. Is that cool or what? Right? So it's pretty awesome. But they turned out fine. But again, from a adult standpoint, I'm going through it. And their mom's going through it, trying to do something to me through my daughters. But I didn't let that affect. I was just like, as long as she let me call up and say what's happening, how you guys doing, and all that, okay. If she would have cut off the phone, well, then we might even have a whole nother conversation. But luckily, she did not do that. All right, and it's pretty wild. But anyhow, Terry O'Vall, that's how we do it. David Jackson's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. David Jackson has something that's very well said. Automatically drive cars too. I forgot about that. That's right. That's right. Cars now are going to be automated. They've already started. They just haven't gotten them exactly right to run in all situations. And they run on Wi-Fi, some of them, which is very dangerous because if it cuts off, then what? But nonetheless, they have trucking that is driving on corridors like between LA and Phoenix and things like that. So now what? All of a sudden, you have a trucking job? Hardly. And even if you did, it's high risk, high rewards, but it's getting dicey for that. So again, you're going to have to learn something that's not going to go away. The stock market is never going away. Investing is never going away either. So even if you don't do stocks, you're going to have to figure out some investment opportunities to build wealth. A house ain't going to cut it. That's a liability. Let's just get real. The longer you hold on to a house, the more expensive it's going to get. Yes, it's probably going to rise in price because we're devaluing our currency. But the fact of the matter is, it's also going to cost you more for repairs. It's not some simple $300. And by the way, 60% of the population doesn't even have $500 in their bank account. So now you want to own a house, and the next thing you know, something will go wrong if it's over 5 years old. Even the new homes, don't buy one. Don't buy a new home because even those are messed up because they have to build them cheapest as possible and charge you still $400,000-$500,000 or more. So again, the automatic cars, it's coming, it's here, it's rolling. People are going to lose their jobs regarding this. Delivery. Think about this. They're already using robots to deliver food. You don't think that that's going to happen with cars or not? Amazon's trying to just drop stuff from a drone. So, I mean, this is where we're going. And now you have automated answering systems. That's very good. The voice is almost real like. The responses are almost real. Before you can tell it was computerized. Now it's getting awfully close. And I'm pretty sure in this year right here, you won't know the difference. So there is a robot only McDonald's, exactly the world above. They're testing right now. Steak and Shake's testing. McDonald's is testing. I think I can't remember the name of this other company that's actually coming out that's running like 2 or 3 stores already with robots only, flipping burgers, doing the fries, and one person over in there. Even though those are low paying jobs traditionally, the fact of the matter is those jobs are not even available for teenagers or people in their early 20s to even at least say, well, let me get $20 an hour or 18 an hour or 23 an hour. Those aren't there. Bye-bye. So now where are you going? If you don't know how to be a carpenter or electrician or heating and AC guy or appliance repair guy, what are you going to do? You can't fix up homes and do rehab because that's going to be heavy because robots won't be doing rehab work. All right. It's too intricate. It's not going to be right now. I'm just saying 5 years from now, I don't know. Come see me then. But right now, not going to happen. But again, you have a shelf life for anything and everything at this point. But one thing you're going to have a shelf life for life forever is stock markets. Even if the US stock market goes away, you still have the Asian, you still have the European under different countries. You still have a way to trade stocks. So you'll always be able to eat. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why you should download the stocks and download the Candlestick Bible. Go to stopstrugglingnow.com, download it. Or I'm going to put a link in the chat room. All right, let's get real. If I didn't already, let me get it right now. because we got to do this. And then also, you guys know I like doing CoinX as well. CoinX is a broker. They're outside the United States, and you use crypto to load to it. And then when you download it, you send crypto back out. So that means you have an opportunity to send crypto to your wallet that's not directly off of a central exchange system. And you can send crypto off of wherever you want to CoinX in the first place. So that's the broker outside the United States, so they can't be affected by anything happening in the US. Just saying. Oops. That put in the disregard the Gold Rush auto trading bot, even though I put it in there, disregard that. All right. That is something that you could use, but I would highly suggest you learn how to trade first before you try to use that, so you understand what you're dealing with. All right. Okay, Joshua Tree, man, I want a divorce and start over. Sick of this too. Yeah, man. Exactly. Exactly. That's what it feels like out here because uh, America is not what it used to be. And it makes it very difficult to live, whether you're one or two. Because before, just remember, up until about the 70s, one person could work, the wife or the significant others or whatever could stay home. Now you need two people just to barely survive. Then, on top of that, if you have kids, you have stressful situations if one person loses a job. And now you ramp up the arguments, you ramp up the, it's very treacherous out here. All I can tell anybody right now, like I tell people, I say, man, I'm just happy I don't have children right now raising them with phones and tablets and this stuff on TV, and how do you decipher who to believe, and now you got AI. I mean, oh my God, books are banned books now. They're banning books, changing the history. I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. Crazy stuff out here. So I can understand where they're in a relationship with, if you have two children or any children in a relationship in this 2026 era, I feel for you. And that's another reason why the only basic systems that can work is if you make enough money to stay above the fray, so you stay out of financial harm, which is, again, very hard to do. If 8 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck, then how are you going to stay out of financial harm? There's only going to be like 20% of the population. And prices are going up as we speak because of the war. So now what? Just more pressure on everybody. Somebody gets sick. Now what? I mean, there's just so much stuff. It's out of control. And trying to acquire anything is even harder. So one of the ways you can acquire, obviously, is what we were talking about, by doing investing. But what are you going to invest in? You need money to do that. So, as I've been saying on every live stream, I need you to reduce your debt. So, why not get in touch with Tracy, right? So, here's her email address. This goes all hand in hand. So, send her an email and ask her what she can do to reduce your debt. And she'll tell you. She's candid. She's part of the family, literally part of my family. So she's going to help you out. All right. Just let her know. Eric told me to come over here, SSN Nation, whatever you want to use. But the fact of the matter is, there's a video that she came on 2 years ago. And so therefore, she'll tell you what she did with another company. Right now, she works for Money Ladder. Everybody on the podcast, it's Tracy, TRACY .sharpe, SHARPE, at moneyladder.com. So just hit her up. Don't file bankruptcy. Don't go to debt collections. Just call her up and see what she can help you with. All right. It's that simple. And see if she has a plan that meets your needs. Just remember, at 2 years or 1 year or 1.5 years, once you pay, it's recorded as you paid in good standing. You don't have any derogatory stuff. But during that time, until you get it paid, you could have derogatory stuff. But after that time, that's why you can't go out and get other credit. You can't do none of that. All right. But at least your debt is reduced. You're paying less. That frees up some money. So you get assets at that point. All right. Assets come in many different forms. whether it's a camera, whether it's a website, whether it's YouTube channels, whether it's whatever, TikToks, I don't know, whether it's what now or whatnot, live streams. Wiser than most, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he brings, oh yeah, that's sad. Yeah, man, it's rough out here. In fact, I'm going to go one step further. I got to tell you guys something. So now I go through, I'm trying to think really. I don't know for a fact, but let's just say my daughters are like probably 12, 13, somewhere between 12, 14. All right, something like that. So now I have a dispute because I have to pay the state of California um, um, child support, right? I have to go through them. So the state of California sends me one day. They send me some things saying, "Hey, you owe all this extra money and stuff." And I said, What are you talking about right now?" I said, "Nah, nah, 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 nah. Something's wrong." So I call up the district attorney's office and I tell them, I said, "Hey, I need a court date." So I'm bringing in all my payments, all my stuff, whatever you guys are talking about. You added all these thousands of dollars. This is BS. They said, "Well, no, this is our records." I said, "It's still BS. I don't really care what your records are. I'm bringing down my bank statements. I'm bringing down everything. So I need a court date." They said, "Okay, we're going to set you up a court date. You bring down your documentation. Maybe it's some stuff we missed." I'm like, "Okay, let's go." So now I show up at my court date. I have my folder, all my stuff. All of a sudden, door opens. I turn around. It's my daughter's mother. And I'm like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "Well, the district attorney called me and said that you were trying to change and reduce your child support." I said, "Are you kidding me right now? They, come on, stop." She goes, "Why? I'm not, they called me." And they said, I said, okay, first of all, they lied to you because I'm here because here's what happened. My daughter's mom said she's mad at me, right? Remember, I told you guys she's mad at me. I don't know why. She says this while we're in court. She says, "Well, I don't know why you're trying to reduce it." I said, "I'm not." She goes, "You're just sending me like $13, $25, $30. I said, "What are you talking about right now? You're sounding crazy. We're in court. Court proceedings are going on, and I'm trying to sit there calm with her. Like, what are you talking about? This is who? Nobody does this. No." So I start flipping through my canceled checks and my, when I worked, they were taking money out of my pay stub, 50% in Cali. So I started showing her stuff, and she's like, "Wait, what?" She's like, "What the?" I said, "Yeah, what the is right. What are you talking about?" Because we couldn't have conversations. She never told me. All these years, she's getting paid whatever they want to send her. We don't know nothing about siphoning because me and her don't really talk. She's just mean to me all the time, right? So that time in court, she sees all the paperwork and she gets pissed. Not at me now. Now she's like, "This whole time you've been having all this money taken out of your bank or your check or your." I'm like, "Yeah." She loses it. Now she, when they had a break, goes up to the district attorney and starts going off. I'm like, oh, this is good. This is good. Guess what? It took that incident to change everything. Between me and her, all I know is my money's being siphoned wherever they want to. It's going down. She knows she's getting some checks like under $50 or something, thinking that's what I'm giving for my daughters. After that, all of a sudden, hey, birthday party comes up. Normally, she has a birthday party, not inviting me. So I go get my daughters on their birthday, the second half of the day, and they come and we do something. But this time, hey, having a birthday party, come on over. Huh? Now remember, well, yeah, I never told you guys, but she's got like 3 or 4 brothers, and I'm thinking, okay, all right, I'm gonna have to deal with these fools. That's what I'm thinking. But no, I come over, nothing but love. The brothers are like, where you been, man? We've been waiting for you. She's been treating you like dirt all these years. They were like pulling for me. I haven't seen them in a while. And so I get there. Sure enough, she's all good, but not really, really good, but still better than what it was before. But that little miscommunication, that little thing, because she always wanted to be mad and never talked and said anything to me, but always mad, always trying to mess up the daughter thing. Like, nah, you can't have them even on your date. All of that stuff. All of a sudden, she goes to court and finds out stuff she was mad about was never a thing she should have been mad about. Wasted all these years. And again, that has some little degree of hurt on all of our parts, right? My relationship with my daughters and everything, it goes up and down, right? The whole thing. So even though we are good, but we would have been a hell of a lot better if this revelation would have been when they were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Seriously, man. But yeah, it's crazy out here, man. And remind you, this is years ago. This ain't 20s. This ain't the 2000s. This is before 2000s. All right. G Cart, welcome to the SSN Nation. Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Very happy to see you once again. Interesting. That's right. Very interesting. And oh, by the way, speaking of the wonderful picture, let's flip it because I was talking about from the male point of view, but the woman's point of view as well. You have to choose a man that wants to actually take care of any children. Because I'm going to give you guys the real. My friends, okay, they have children. We go out, we go eat, we have fun, we go out partying, whatever. These dudes would tell me, I love my kids. I love my kids. That's what all men say. But men, I'm going to tell you right now, all this I love my kids, don't even BS me. My friends try to BS me. I know they have 1 or 2 children. They always say, I love my kids. Their mom's acting crazy, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, hey, man, hold on. I don't know nothing about it. That's your thing. Don't need to talk to me about this. But don't sit with me and then say, yeah, man, I'm going to make sure I quit my job so their mom don't get child support. I was like, hold up, man. Hold on. I'm not rocking with you. You're my boy, but since you're my boy, I'm going to tell you right now, that ain't right. I said, what's this got to do with you and the mom? Even if the mom spends the money, that's not your thing. You still need to provide. So you better stop all this. I don't want to give mom money. You said you love your kids. That's part of love. You don't get to pick and choose by just going, oh, yeah, I'm going to quit my job so they can't get child support. I'm like, so then what's going to happen? Their mother or the other parent, if it's a female, the other parent needs help. So don't talk to me about you love your kids. My boys be looking at me like, I'd be looking at them like, you just said you love your kids every time I see your ass. Why are you saying this? What are you saying right now? No, man, I ain't rocking with that BS. Sorry. You can't, I ain't co-signing. No. Don't, I said, first of all, my point of view is don't say you love your kids and then tell me that you ain't going to try to help provide for them. That ain't the same. That talk is cheap to me. You have to do a little more than that. You can't tell me just so you can make it look good in front of everybody. You better show me. And that talk is like, nah, man, you ain't getting off the hook for me. I'm sorry. We ain't rocking like that. I said, nah. I don't agree with none of that. I'm using AI to quickly diagnose my customers' laptops and PCs, EV place. Exactly, man. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Artificial intelligence is already started. People don't even understand. If you have the software, which I haven't even gotten to AI, I used to be a computer geek and a hacker base level. And then I said, nah, man, because the government okay, let's just get real. The government at the time, and still to this day, if you're on an ISP, they can track you. A VPN, okay, great, but they have other hackers that can try and track you. And so now they have more tools. Before it was like some old guy doing computers. He was 10, 20 years behind. So you could actually infiltrate networks and do all kind of crazy, right? Now they got AI up in this thing. Now they got all kind of things up here. Automated systems and checkpoints and things of this nature. It makes it a little harder. So I said it's not a good business move because if you get jacked, they're gonna come raiding your house and now they're gonna put a jacket on you, right? So I was like, nah, I can't mess around anymore. So I'll just do my other computing stuff. But yeah, man, this is exactly what's going. College is done. FGD. I agree to a certain point. The reason I say that is because jobs that require PhDs, upper level education, which nobody will have, those will always be on demand. This is why those H-1B visas, where Google, Microsoft, all these tech companies, because we have a less than stellar education system, so they want to be able to hire people from other countries who's above American citizens. And so that's why the H-1B is necessary and they want them. They're like, hey, man, otherwise we're not going to have the talent. And that's where the problem comes in. So I do agree with you at a point that college is a problem because it costs so much now when it should have been free or damn near free like it was in the before 1970s. This thing that they're doing now where they're charging people 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 G's a year is absurd. That's not even sustainable because they're not guaranteeing you a job. They're not guaranteeing you anything. It would be a whole nother ball game if they were on the hook for if I don't get a job and my GPA is this and I'm not getting this after 2 years or 3 years, I'm getting money back. We don't have that, right? Because it's now based on making money instead of what it should be. And devaluing education has now led us to where we are now, where people can't decipher when somebody says something, if they're lying or not. People don't even know how to look up and do research. So that now has hurt our whole society because you have people who are educated, who did study, who understands when somebody says something to you, you can go find out the information and find out if they're lying or telling the truth. Then you have another side that says they're telling the truth. And now you tell the person they're not telling the truth. Here's the evidence. And they go, it's fake. This is what we're dealing with out here because our education system, critical thinking, has morphed into video games, computer games, games. That's not critical thinking. And that is where we are. And that is the downfall of a society. And that's where we're headed. And so now you have a high rate of people that could, first of all, there's a high rate of people that could care less about college in the first place because that was hard work. But the hard work, you learn something about hard work, having to show up on time. Tay, welcome again. She says the boomers really screwed up everything. I I don't really know about the boomers. I see. My thing is, it's not really the boomers because let's put things in perspective. So if you have up from 1900s as a woman to 1975, and you have where you can't have a bank account if you're married, you can't have a bank account if you're not married, and you can't, if you're married, your husband has to sign off to allow you to have a bank account, has to sign off to allow you to have a credit card, has to divorce, won't, you can't divorce your husband. You have to consent to sex since you're married at all times. You can't vote. You can't work. You can't own real estate. So, guess who comes to the rescue are the boomers from the 50s and 60s for the civil rights movement. The boomers in the 30s and 40s, the women's suffrage, your right to vote because of those boomers. See, that's why this thing that people go, it's the boomers' fault. No, no, no. No, it's the boomers that were against what you were given that you now know you get. That you don't have to be a secretary. Remember, that was a lid. Just like minorities, you can't be higher than, you're not going to be the boss. You're not going to be on the executive board. All you can be is the secretary out front. Sure, if you're exceptional, we'll allow you in the room, but you're reporting to the male figure, so he's going to take the credit for your work that you're going to hand him. So that's the boomer generation. But luckily for you, you had boomers that said, we ain't going for this. Yeah, we're going to get beat down. We're going to get hurt. But we got our signs. We got our pickets. We showing up, calling it something else, the women's movement, right? So that is the boomers that did that. What the problem ends up being is after the boomers did that, you have people, I'll use women now who say, oh no, it's okay. We don't need to fight for our freedoms. We'll just take, whatever you give us, male members. Again, so now people are giving back what some boomers gave and blaming it on the boomers when in fact you ain't doing nothing. Not you personally. I'm just saying. Think of all the people that says I don't vote. All the women that go, I don't vote. Or all the women that will vote for a person that says I grab women by the locker room talk. Okay. That right there hurts women. It ain't the boomers. The boomers are over. You guys are now in control and you're allowing all the crazy. You don't mind hiring right now people that are in trouble with the law to be your elected officials because your husband says so. Or you just like the person because they're rich or whatever. But they're not fighting for you. You're giving your power over to people that want you nowhere around. Women, not in the armed forces. That's what, right? Women, you don't have control over your body anymore. So if you get pregnant, that wasn't the boomers' fault. They made sure that you guys, if you had pregnancy, they made sure that you had some sort of coverage. In case you had a problem pregnancy, you had an option. Now, if you have a problem pregnancy, doctors won't even touch you because there's laws that just now came down that said, oh no, you can die in the parking lot bleeding out. You can die in the emergency room bleeding out because if those doctors or nurses or anybody helps you and they have to abort the child, y'all all are going to jail. But the boomers fought for your rights. And now you guys just said, oh, no, we're going to vote for these guys that want to take it all away. See, that's the thing. Everybody wants to set themselves away apart when the whole time they're coming along and people are saying they're going to do something to take away your rights. You're going to blame it on the boomers when you should have been making sure that you weren't putting people in place that was going to take away your rights. And by the way, there's a SAVE Act right now. Speaking of women, 79 million women are married in America with their husband's name. The SAVE Act requires a passport in your name that matches your birth certificate. Somebody better start explaining to me how you're going to vote if you have a married name, because it's not going to match your passport if you've already put your married name on a passport, and it ain't going to match your birth certificate. So now what you going to do? Because legally, you have to get a court to change your name back to your maiden name. And that ain't going to happen next week. So now you all need court dates, 79 million, and you're going to need a new passport to vote if the SAVE Act passes. This is what the boomers did not do, but the people now voted for people that presented this to Congress. The House already passed it. The Senate, luckily, the GOP party doesn't have 60 senators. They only have 53, I think. So luckily, it can't pass unless 7 Democrats agree, which, let's face facts, there's 7 mediocre, weak dudes who want to control women that's obviously going to vote for it. So don't try to blame the boomers for something that they gave you and then say, it's not anything on my watch. It's on your watch that this is happening. The other part to the equation is boomers gave you Social Security. Boomers gave you health care. A president 12 years ago, 13, 14 years ago, gave you Affordable Care Act. But you know what? People still said, the party that said the people still had a choice. They could vote. They said, hey, we got the Affordable Care Act for you. We're going to make an exchange. We're going to have a lot of insurance companies. So, under your watch, people voted for people that said, you know what? We don't want that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to call it states' rights. So, we're going to say, we're going to block the insurance companies from being able to do business in our state. So that's how we can block the Affordable Care Act in our state. And by blocking the more of the insurance companies, we now make the existing insurance companies have to charge more money. So now by default, people go, well, it's unaffordable. What's all this thing about? Oh, I thought it was affordable. Yeah, they twisted the system to eliminate the insurance companies so your rates would go up. But instead of penalizing them, you blame a party that had nothing to do with making sure your prices go up on your watch. Not boomers, but a boomer president and Congress put it into place, and you guys dropped the ball. So now look at us. Healthcare going up. And the guys that people are saying, we want you to be in control, are saying, let's just get rid of it. We have a plan for you. Right. So again, I've heard this boomer talk before, but unfortunately, those in the last 30 years that decided to sit on the sidelines and let certain mediocre, I just have to say it, I'm a black guy, white dudes be able to control your lives and you go rah, rah, here we are. So I'm not blaming nothing on boomers. Boomers gave you the opportunity. They fought for their lives, lived their lives, and died for you to have opportunity. And you squander it away by letting mediocre people rule over you, and you voted for it. Instead of thinking, if you want a better place, maybe you should vote for stuff that helps people. College and education helps people. Healthcare helps people. Livable wage jobs help people. Again, you said I'm voting for these guys that want right to work laws, not unions. Unions gave you the boomers the weekend. Boomers gave you vacation. Boomers gave you overtime pay. Boomers gave you 8 hours a week jobs, livable wage job opportunities. Boomers gave you where your children didn't have to go to the mines because they were under 18 so they could go to school to get an education to be better. Boomers gave you all of that. But now all of that is dwindling away because Arkansas and some other of these states they actually voted laws in so you can now work under 14 instead of going to school. How's that going to come out? So don't blame the boomers. They gave every chance for everybody to succeed and they fought for it because there was always people along the way that wanted to put you and us in this same situation we're in now so they can control. Small minority control. And they fought for 100+ years. And now, yeah, we'll just put these guys in that want to take it all away and blow it up. No problem, because we can't tell truth from lies until you get sick, until you want to go to school, until you want to get a higher paying job. All of a sudden, now you find out, okay, this is effed up. The boomers did it to us. Right. Hardly. They gave you every freedom that you had up until a certain point. They gave you affirmative action. But there's people that said, well, no, we can't have equal pay. We can't have women in the workplace. We can't have minorities working with us thinking that they can be our boss and women can be our boss. Come on now. That's affirmative action. That's DEI. We got to get rid of that. We don't want that around. And of course, people voted for the people that want to take it away, claiming you get unfair advantage when in all the whole time, the guys that are taking it away are the ones that were getting mediocre. They're the ones getting in positions without earning it. I went on the soapbox once again, but this is history. You guys can Google it. So I had to talk about this boomer thing because this comes up on social media awful lot. And I'm like, do you know how much you gave up over the last 35 years? Since 1980, when people believed in the trickle down theory because of some actor, Ronald Reagan, the actor's talking about trickle down. Meanwhile, in the background, he's making you pay for tax cut, tax breaks, and subsidies. That's how it all started. And the prediction was then that you live in a third world country, but you don't know it yet by me, because I said, if you're making taxpayers pay for their risk, that means taxpayers are going to pay more later out of their pockets to support the L's. So, what do I mean by the L's? It's common sense from investing. If I know that I make $100,000 and I know I have to pay, let's say, $30,000 in taxes, and I come home with 70 grand this year. Now you tell me, oh, Eric, we're giving the rich dudes tax cuts and tax breaks and subsidies, and we're going to take money from you for the taxes they're not going to pay. So now what you're telling me is I make 100,000, but now next year I'm going to get 65,000 of my money. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. But no, on TV, I'm going to lie about it and say it's a good thing because they're going to create jobs for us. They're not going to buy yachts. They're not going to buy planes. No, no, no. They're going to do R&D, research and development. They're going to hire more people. Huh? Why? One incentive is that exactly? They're getting free money. Oh, don't worry. It's all good, man. So now that boomer that people voted for says, let's just take these low life's money. They don't deserve it. They're not creating jobs, even though mom and pop jobs, number one, mom and pop businesses are the number one place that create jobs. The boomers, mom and pops, but y'all want to vote and give money to 3,000 billionaires on the planet, 70 million millionaires on the planet, 8.6 billion people. So you guys want to acquiesce and give less than 100 million people, wealthy people, tax cut, tax breaks, and subsidies and special treatment and they hold more wealth than 5 billion people combined. But you voted for it. But you can't blame the boomers because all y'all said, I believe these assholes. It's all good. They're white guys. They're famous. They're rich. Yeah, they're watching out for us. Under what program are you watching? As you now get paid non-livable wages for the majority of the population, as the prices are 80% of you are living paycheck to paycheck. Again, this is why it's war out here in several fronts, and you need to build wealth, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Globe, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Make sure you guys smash that like button, give it a one piece. And by the way, did anybody see any of the trailers? I put a trailer out again, at least I thought. Did anybody see the trailer? Come on, one time. Life is too short, he says. He's right. I'd rather live in my car than with an unruly woman. You know what, Kevin Globe? I have to agree with you. I have several things. You know what? I should have. Nah, I shouldn't. I should have a channel for men, quite frankly. My friends, they would have a business, right? And I used to tell all of my friends, not this exact same thing, but I would tell them, they would go, man, they're businessmen. And they would say, man, I'm having a problem with this girl. She's kind of da da da. I said, you know what? Your business is going to suffer. Number one rule, if you're in business, you better have a woman that matches or understands what you're doing, because your distraction that she will cause for you is going to be an L for business. You're going to lose business because of it, because your mind's not going to be thinking clearly. I said, number one rule. So stop playing out here. If you're going to be with somebody, you better make sure they're hella cool with the program, because otherwise it's a distraction. And that does not help somebody that's up and coming. Just saying. All right. Yeah. Oh man, I got stories I can't even talk about right now. Script writer. No one cares about a man's depression. Script writer, you're exactly 110% correct. You got that right. Here's the thing. See, this is exactly the thing right now. Because men also, from the time of the United States, there was capitalism intent. I have to be number one, even if I have to step over bodies to get there. But remember, men were the only ones that could work. Women were like barred, go have kids and all that, right? They would otherwise, I mean, you could be a seamstress, you could do telephone or whatever. But the point is, the man was out there having to deal with getting the job because women weren't allowed to have certain jobs. So the man, if he didn't bring any money home, then he's a failure. And to feed his wife and kids or girlfriend, kids, whatever the situation is, he's a failure. That is depression, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, same thing goes forward now. When 8 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck, and let's just say it's half and half, 4 men, 4 women, they're all individuals. They have families. and you're living paycheck to paycheck. Do you know what that could do to somebody's morale when you don't make enough money and you have people looking up to you like, hey, are you going to get us? What are you going to do? And you're like, well, I kind of work like a job and a part-time job, and I only sleep 7, 8 hours, and I'm trying to do the best I can. It kind of puts you in a box. And then, like I talked about the child support, all of a sudden you got child support situations, and they're taking half your check, and you're with another person, let's say. That's pressure. Then you get fired, laid off, like the 40,000 UPS and FedEx drivers. Now you can't even get another job because there's none available. At least not going to pay you the wages you were getting. So now what? So all that pressure mounts for the providers of the house. Most of the time it's men, but it's also could be women. Or because it takes two people, all it takes is one person. And being a man, you have the inherent, I need to take care, provide. And now all of a sudden the depression sets. The confidence is lost. So therefore, your partner, if you have one, you better pick one wisely, because that partner you have better be the one that says, come on, we can do this. Come on, whatever you need me to help you, let's go. But even then, a man could easily be defeated mentally. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it's motivational talk time. No matter what happens in life, it's temporary. What isn't temporary is if you give up. Because if you give up, that means it's permanent. So you have to always continue to go. It's easier said than done. Don't worry about it. But you cannot give up. And again, words are easy, situations are not. But you got to keep trying. You got to move one foot in front of another. You got to say, you know what? Let me go chill at the park for a few hours. Let me listen to some music I love and relax to. Let me meditate, whatever it takes. Get your mind off of something. Walk around, start reading, start doing something. And you never know, something will come to your mind just once you can relax a little bit. And the better you can control your emotions, the better that you will be able to figure out what to do sooner. And depression, unfortunately, puts your mind and your body in a whole nother state. And that's where you are absolutely right, script writer. No one cares. You're supposed to be the strong, silent type. And that's the difference between man and woman. Women, when they grow up, they're taught to be together, talk about their emotions, talk about their relationships, talk about friends. Men talk about relationships, but it's a different way. But you're not going to talk about your feelings. I want to cry. I'm upset from what you said. Guys will say that. I'm upset from what you said, because we can fight, aggressive. But trying to deal with it from an internal situation, oh no, we got problems. And relationships, we're not forging relationships like little girls do. And then when they get older, we form a different way. We might play sports. We might be in what is some clubs in a little clique, right? But we got to be strong, right? You got to be strong. You got to show strength. You can never show weakness in a lot of households. What are you doing crying, boy? Son, why you cry? Men don't cry. That's the worst thing you can say to a man or a child, even female, because men and women do the same thing. Their daughter cries, don't be crying. Dry them tears. I'll beat your behind. Those things are emotional. You can't do that. Just saying, I'm getting parenting advice. Don't do that. Emotions are real. Suppressing some emotions mean now the person's going to be unemotional about certain things that you think that they don't care because they're going to hurt people. And all of that stuff that you told them to hold inside, they couldn't release it. They're only going to do things a certain way because their mind is triggered. And those are the things that people miss a lot of times. And in America, there's no playbook to be a parent. The only playbook is, I would highly suggest anybody go check out psychology books. That would help you greatly. And if you could take classes on psychology with regard to children and relationships and things like that, that would be helpful. But again, most people won't do it, right? So, but you're right. That's a major problem. And that's also why a lot of people feel like there's no way out. There's nothing I can do. And then they do extreme things. All right. Larry Will XO, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. It's war out here, ladies and gentlemen, on several fronts, even the one I just talked about with depression. You guys know what it is out here. It's hard, it's war everywhere, but you're going to have to figure out a solution in your brain what you're going to do. You can't have a job, stock trading. Can't have a job, learn stock trading. Have a job, learn stock trading. Have a job, start a business. Have a job, do extracurricular activity. You have no choice in America right now. You don't know if you're going to have that job next year due to AI. AI is going to take over a lot of things that you don't think there's going to be a fallout from. You don't know if there's going to be a fallout, but you do know anything that's hands on that requires you to do it manually. Right now, you're going to be safe, but for how many years? They've already shown where there's bricklayer robots outside of America, just so you know. All right. So they can build buildings. Now, the roofing thing, I haven't seen that yet. But I'm just saying, nobody wants to really be a roofer, right? So again, and this thing about what we're doing here in America, the country that had a nation built on immigrants. And now we have again people who voted to make sure that immigrants don't come to America. Immigrants are an ecosystem, and people twist it up into, well, we have immigrants, and that's why we get paid less. Um, Nobody's going down to work on the farms. Nobody's going down to pick the fruit. Nobody's going down to do all this stuff for under livable wages in the sun, manual labor. So now you got food rotting, prices rise, all because you want to pull the rug on any other immigrants that come to America after the country was built on immigrants. And the immigrants are the threat when the guys you were voting for don't want to pay you livable wages, don't want you to have health care for all, don't want you to have free college like 20 to 50 other countries. And you want us to send money to a country like Israel and fight in behalf of them who does have universal health care, who does have free college. What kind of, are you serious with all this right now? You can't blame boomers. You guys are the ones sitting on the sidelines going, oh, yeah, that's the guys for me. My life's going to be better because they said so, even though it's nonsensical, but my life's going to be better. You're voting for these dudes. I mean, so how are you going to blame some dudes from 50, 60 years ago that put you in position to win? You voted for Reagan to do tax cut tax rates and believe this trickle down BS. You allowed him and G. Bush 1 to run the trickle down thing for 12 years. 12 years. And ship your jobs overseas. I mean, you guys, what are you doing out here? And now you're doing it the same way. This rich dude told me that he's going to bring jobs back. But because we don't have critical thinking anymore, people are like, you ask, well, how's he going to bring jobs back? And they go, oh, he's going to tariff. How's he, do you know what tariffs are? Oh, yeah, that means the other country's going to pay more to ship it to America. Now, again, how many people you know have bought products from companies outside the United States? So therefore, when somebody gets on TV and social media and says another country's going to pay the tariffs, half the country believes it. Because this rich white dude said so. Because TV said so. The rich white dude's friends said so. And they pay social media people to post this stuff. But if you actually got projects or property or had dealings outside the United States, you know there's a customs. And you would know who pays the tariff. My company has to pay the tariff. So if you tell me, Eric, it's $100, I'm buying my $100 product from Taiwan. Hold on, let me change it. From China, Hong Kong, and all of a sudden, the United States says there's a 25% tariff on Chinese products. China still sells it to me for $100. They still get their 100. Because I'm in the United States, my company has to pay 125. I pay it, which now means when I get ready to sell it to the consumer, I can't sell you this product for $200 anymore if I'm a store. I now have to sell it for $250. You call that what? Oh no, the rich dude, he knows more. When you could Google or ask a person in business that get products from overseas, and they would tell you, no, we pay it when we get it from customs. If you prepay, I got to pay 125 for each product. I don't get to sit there and be like, oh yeah, well, hey, you guys, you guys are going to accept $75, right? They're like, have you lost your freaking mind right now? No, it don't work like that. I still got to give them $100 per item. Now businesses go out of business because we have half of a population that doesn't understand business. And they believe some rich dude that's been ripping people off for 50 years. And they believe some TV that gets sued and loses lawsuits for lying. And they just say, well, yeah, whatever. It's fake news, whatever you're telling me. Well, it has repercussions now because if you thought that was going to bring businesses to America, how? The other country can still sell products to everywhere around the world. So you take away the United States market. Now my business that I now have to pay 125 for the item, guess what happens? My price went up. Now my customer doesn't buy as much. Now that means I'm getting less revenue, so I have to lay people off. Boomers didn't do this. You did this. It's on your watch. And now you're believing more lies after the fact saying, oh, we have all this tariff money. Yeah, you have my tariff money. It ain't the other country's tariff money. It's the United States citizens' tariff money. And you got nerve to tell me you're going to give me part of my money back after you destroyed my business. How cute. But people still go, look, you'll get some tariff money from the other country. Let's get real. You people, half of the country voted for this, who don't understand what was happening and then trying to blame somebody else. Not on my watch. Sorry. That's how simple this is. And I can't believe that people still to this day believe what Scott Bessent, Lutnick, and all these assholes say about tariffs. No, the other countries aren't paying it. The other countries are winning while the United States corporations and companies are losing. By default, employees are getting fired. That's why there's no manufacturing jobs coming. There's no corporations outside of America coming back into America to build billion-dollar manufacturing facilities because of tariffs. Some people would go, Eric, what about Whirlpool? Whirlpool made a decision 10 years ago that they were going to try and move some production over here to Kentucky. Had nothing to do with the tariff stuff. They were already doing it. But the majority of businesses can't come back to America because you know why? Your non livable wage job is non livable in the United States. A livable wage job outside of the United States in the countries that produce product to be shipped here, $5 an hour, $3 an hour, $20 a day. You can't live on that. And you really think that they're going to bring companies back here to pay you $10 an hour, 25 an hour? Sorry, not going to happen. Not in the quantity that you want. There's not going to be any 50 million new jobs coming. Livable wage jobs coming from manufacturers who pay people $10 or less per hour and building billion-dollar factories to boot. Sorry. On what planet do you think that makes economic sense? This is a financial channel. Who in their right mind would believe lots of people believe that scenario. And as you now know, it does not work that way. Losing manufacturing jobs right now as we speak in America. Losing livable wage jobs as we speak in America. It got rounded up for 2025, 1 million jobs lost. Out of that, I don't know how many with livable wages. So again, you want to build wealth? Wars out here on all types of fronts. And there's people backing the war against each other. They're backing the war against countries. And the bill is rising. And you don't care. Energy costs, you want data centers in your backyard? Your water is going to be toxic. And you're going to subsidize the energy and electric bill for that data center. But people are saying, bring them on. They're going to give me 6,000 jobs. That's a lie. It's 6,000, 4,000, 3,000 jobs when they're building the data centers. Why don't you find out and Google how many jobs are actually permanent after a data center is built? Google it. It won't be 6,000. It won't be 5,000. It won't be 2,000. It won't be 1,000. It won't be 500. It won't be 100 people. It's automation, ladies and gentlemen. I get to sit at a board and monitor 24 hours a day. There's going to be less than 50 employees. Meanwhile, your town is going to pay for the energy costs. You're going to subsidize them. Your town, you gave them something. Free land? Possibly. No taxes for 10 or 20 years? No problem. You're paying their share. Does that sound like a sustainable situation to you on any front? No investors, no financial guys, no future stock traders, because if you learn how to stock trade, your money that you make, sky's the limit. It's whatever you can do. You're not going to be blocked. You're not going to get fired. You're under control. So therefore, think about it, ladies and gentlemen. That's why on this long rant, which I didn't want to get into, there's war out here on several fronts. Several against each other right now. There's wars manufactured because I'll go another route. Think about something. There's what do you call these trans athletes, right? Now, I want to make things very, very clear here. I'm a quite a progressive and liberal type of guy because I want everybody to win, but I'm not the guy that's going to be sitting here going, a trans athlete should be able to compete who used to be a man and now claiming he's a woman to compete against women. I don't think but less than 1%, if that, of the population believes that should be a thing. So again, Boomers didn't do this. On your watch, you guys allowed people you voted for to sit there. And I have to admit, because I voted for people that in turn said, oh, let's pass these laws that make it. I'm like, hold up, man. I'm not down with that one. But once again, at least we can do something about it after the fact. So I wouldn't want a woman in a man's locker room, man in a woman's locker room. I don't want a man competing in a woman's sport. But I'm going to tell you something about mediocre men. I'm going to tell you about the time I played poker in the early 2000s. World Series of Poker. You know, they've always had a women's poker tournament at the World Series of Poker. Well, now that poker got popular, it's on TV, it's online, it's going gangbusters. You know what happens when they have the poker, women's only poker tournament, the World Series of Poker around 2004, 5, 6, whenever they have them all the time, but somewhere around there, you know what started happening? Heterosexual, mediocre, sorry ass dudes. No, we can't have women only. That's not fair. I'm like, are you serious right now? We're trying to get more women into. I wasn't a part of it. I'm just saying, but my point of view was you're trying to get inclusive, more people in. Who cares if there's one event out of 40 where women can only play in it? No, you know what these guys do? They go sign up because there's civil rights. They use this. You can't do only for women because there's no men only tournaments. When 95 or 97% of all poker players are men, these guys are having a fit because it's women's only. I couldn't believe these clowns. So they actually got to enter and play because there's no law that stops they can't. That's why civil rights is out there, right? So they used what helped people against them. And here we have it again under Stephen Miller and all the rest. But that's what they do. These mediocre guys get all hurt in their feelings and they're just like, oh no, we can't have women's only. I'm going to be in it because it's my right. They shouldn't be able to just do it by themselves. We can't do it by ourselves. I'm like, who cares? We're not trying to do it by ourselves. It's open to everybody. The women's was specifically for women. Why do you have a problem? But yet, you have 10 or 15 people doing it. That's how we're doing it out here. It's that simple. That simple. So every time, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back by these mediocre men, always trying to hurt somebody, always trying to block from any progress. That's out here. And that's why there's war on all several fronts. You can't get caught up into all of that. You should try to make sure everybody wins. Biz buy sell. If you want a business, biz buy sell. There's a lot of businesses right now because of our economy that people are going to go, I want out. Just give me $3,000 per month and you can take over my business and we'll worry about the payment and we can figure out the amount. That's what you should be doing. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's that simple. All right. All right. I'm going to end this because it's 1 hour and 53 minutes, but I want to thank everybody for being here. Let me see. Oh, I got some more. Hold on. I didn't see I had more. I thought I was done.
You're done.
I'm done. All right. Loper, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. That's deep, Eric. Thanks for sharing your story. Thanks, man. Hopefully that helps other people. Flee to Thailand. That can't get you there. LOL. The world above. Hey, you know what happened? Again, the world above. I got to go look this up because I got to go find out what they changed. Thailand. Let me go look this up. Change the visa. I want to call it something else, but I think it's in 2025, 2025. I think it was last year. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Thailand implemented major visa changes in 2025 to curb visa runs and boost security, including a limit of 2 visa exempt entries per calendar year, especially via land, and a new mandatory digital arrival card, TDAC, for all arrivals. This is what the United States is doing, by the way. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think more tourists is coming once you have to implement these visa things in the US? Hell no. They're not coming, which is going to hurt businesses. This is not very hard to understand, right? America's trying to do the same thing, this nation of immigrants, which is wild to me. America doesn't have anything anybody wants anymore. There's no slavery. There's no segregation to suppress wages and have kids working in mines and working in factories. So you pay people a little bit of money. We are not China. We're not Vietnam. We're not Thailand. We're not Mexico. We're not none of these countries. We don't have the low wage anymore. But yet we're acting like it. And it's coming back to haunt us because they're not trying to rise everybody. Okay, the new rules take effect late 2025, heavily scrutinized using 30 or 60-day visa exempt entries for long term residency with strict enforcement, including potential denial of entry at borders. There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, they're cutting down. So it looks like you only have 30, 60 days. You only have 90 days automatic. So again, if you're planning on staying there, that means you're going to need some residency. If you're going to be staying past 30, well, you got to go across the border for one day. But I'm just saying that's still a hassle. Um. Okay. Changed tourist. Let's go with tourist visa. Let me see if they count that as the same. Let's go see what they got here. Yeah, it's still the same. They got a 60-day rule. Nationals from 93 countries can enter for 60 days, but are restricted to only 2 visa exempt entries per calendar year. So there you go. So if you're going there, you're going to have to do more than just hang out because, okay, I'll give people the other factor. I mean, you could always stay illegally and pay. I don't think they throw you in jail. A lot of countries just make you pay. So if you stayed past 60 days and you stayed for 6 months, whatever the fee is, it could be 75, $50 or $150. But that's the way it is. But anyhow, so I don't know how you're supposed to all of a sudden, and they want proof of funds now too, to carry at least 20,000 Thai baht in cash or equivalent. And most visitors must now use the official Thai e-visa portal for tourist visa applications. So yeah, and of course they're going to use it just like any other country. This is designed to curb illegal work and unauthorized long-term stays, illegal immigrants. The same old, same old. But you know what this is going to do? It's going to stop ordinary travelers, ordinary business people from doing business. Not saying that there's nothing wrong with trying to curb whatever, but the fact of the matter is there's other ways that you could do this instead of like the American way that is now trying to be implemented as well. They're basically taking this off the Americans. So tourism is going to go down. Businesses are going to lose business, which is what has happened in Las Vegas and other in Florida and all over America. Tourist numbers are down, and now businesses are shutting down. So you have that. More people laid off. More people don't have a job. More people who don't have food on the table. So again, what are you going to do? If you would have learned how to do stock market trading, you'd be ahead of the curve. Of course, you're going to have to hopefully have a little bit of cash to do it, but let's call it what it is. Joshua, is the war over yet? No, man, the war's never going to be over. What? The war's never going to. Okay, let's do history. 1953, Iran had a democracy, just like in America, democratically elected head of their country. Well, before 1953, but in 1953, no, it was in 1953. So you know what the United States does, because he says after he's elected, he says, you know what, guys, I think, hey, BP, sorry, man, this oil refinery and all this stuff, I'm nationalizing it. I'm taking it over. You don't get to take the resources and give us a little bit of kibbles and bits. We're going to keep the resources and keep the majority of the profits, and we'll give you a little bit. We'll just flip the script. And I think the other company was, I don't know what the other company was. But anyhow, the point I'm trying to make is the oil companies got nationalized, just like in Venezuela. Get out. We are going to keep our own resources, rightfully so. The UN made it to where all resources in a country is their resources. But you know, the imperial beings say, we don't really care. We started the UN, but we're above it all. We're exceptional. We don't have to play by the rules. So what do? The CIA, they do a coup. The United States does a coup. They replace the guy with the Shah of Iran. Well, hold on now. The people elected the man. It'd be just like if a country came in and took our president and then they replace it with somebody else, and that guy goes, there's no more voting. Everything's my way or the highway. F you. They appointed me. I'm the man. And then the United States props him up to make sure that he has the infrastructure to make sure he stays in power until 1979, when people said, I have enough of this asshole. Get him out of here by any means necessary. So the United States, the Ayatollahs, all the regions get together and be like, hey, man, we had enough of this. And we're having enough of this. You giving America our stuff too. We ain't friends like that with them. And you ain't helping us. You giving everything to them, and they're propping your ass up. We don't like you. So, what happens when you do that? Psychology. The only way that I can move you out of your spot means I have to do physical violence to you because you're not leaving. So, therefore, Ayatollahs say, let's kill this dude. United States says, hold up, man. You guys, come on now. We can work this. No, you ain't working nothing out. Hold on, man. We said, hold on, hold on. They said, okay. You want us to hold on? All right. Hey, let's go round up. So we're some Americans that we can kidnap right now. So these guys understand that we want them to get the hell out of our country. But now remember, these are revolutionary guys. These ain't guys that's sitting there, oh, let's have a democratic election so we can be in power. No, these guys are like, we're taking over and we don't really care about what you got to say. But by the way, let's kidnap some of these Americans and hold them hostage. Jimmy Carter's trying to put together a peace plan, trying to sit there and be like, hey, man, hold on. We can get these hostages back. It's all good. We'll talk to the Shah. He'll leave. See, we're going to get this all worked out. You know what's so cold blooded? Do you know what country you live in? You don't. Ronald Reagan is running for president, saying, day one, I'll be able to solve the crisis over in Iran with those hostages. Jimmy Carter's too weak because he's the nicest dude on the planet, God-fearing and trying to help everybody, but he's too weak. He won't be able to get the job done. Can you believe behind the curtains? Oh, by the way, George Bush 1 worked for the CIA. Just remember that. So while Jimmy Carter's trying to negotiate the release of the hostages, the team, our American team, traitors, treasonous, are calling Iran officials saying, don't do it. I'm going to try to be elected. You guys need to hold off on this right now and wait till after the election because I want to be a hero. Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, do you know what country you live in? So, guess what? Jimmy Carter, ill advised, says, hey, man, let's take some helicopters out there. Let's go try and get them. Disaster. Reagan and friends get the pounce on it. See, I told you he's weak. He doesn't know how to run a military, even though he was in the military himself. Unlike the actor. Just saying. Okay, but G. Bush won spy material, so give him credit. So, anyhow, helicopters crash, see he's weak, and you know what happens. United States votes for the guy that says he's rich, powerful, and he is because he's an actor. He used to be the governor of Cali. And he's seemingly strong. I want Russia to become democratic. I'm going to make sure they are. Okay, he's roofing, but he also went against the United States backdoor, so Jimmy Carter wouldn't be able to release the hostages. And when he gets in, hostages get released. Everybody goes, see, he's the man. Meanwhile, let's trickle down theory on your ass, Americans. See how great I am? And of course, Americans are ecstatic. They're like, oh, this dude's the man. We ought to deal with what he's saying. It's got to be legitimate until it's not 40 years later. So hopefully, this history you can Google for yourself. All right. And I want to hear, do I hear any lies? Let me know. All right. Yeah, the war's not going to ever be over, by the way, Joshua Tree. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to ask you something. If somebody went to your country and killed your parents, your grandparents, your mother, your father, all that, are you, when you grow up, or the remaining people that are alive, you're going to say, oh, yeah, we forgive that country? I don't think so. So it's never going to be over because we can't occupy the country. And even if we did, that just means it's forever, like Afghanistan, which means there'll always be whatever. So there's no way. The War of the Roses, Judah Barak. Yeah, man, exactly. DIM pals and other investors in the house. War, get rich or die trying. He's doing it. Welcome, another investors here to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Good evening, Eric. Hopefully you and everyone is having good health. Yes, my aunt is doing much, much better, man. Speaking of good health, that's why I was late today. Because she actually said some words. I heard a voice come out for the first time in like 2 months. Yeah. Yeah, it's been wild. Smash that like button. Thank you so much for that. Make sure you smash the like button. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, these dudes. No, I don't need no help, man. You guys be sending me some stuff. All right. Divinely gifted. Awesome name. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream, late night edition. By the way, I always have to say Bankus, ladies and gentlemen, because if you're going to do stock market trading and you're going to upload crypto and you need to download crypto and you want to keep it out of information hands, US and United States, then Bankus is outside of the United States and it's a MasterCard debit card. Now, it's new. All I need you to do is use the link, download the software because they are changing from the Visa system to the MasterCard system, and it hasn't fully been done yet. But that doesn't stop you from being able to use the link that I'm about to provide. And that doesn't stop you from being able to participate and listen on the Zoom call tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern. They have two of them. They even answer questions. So nobody's left behind. If you don't understand something, they'll walk you through it. And then they have trainings and things like that as well. So The link is there. Please use my link. Why? Because this is a money making opportunity eventually once they get the maintenance all wrapped up and everything's functional again. You can invite other people. The power of this card is not just because I can download crypto to it and use it and take money out the ATM machine and use it on the MasterCard network. The power of it is if you know somebody else in another country, town, city, state, or going to college as kids or whatever, you can upload to your card or download to your card your crypto. And as long as you have they have a bank's card and account, you can just send them the money. They have a card, they go to the ATM machine, or they pay for their books if they're a student, pay for their dorm, whatever, if that's the route you want to take. But the point I'm trying to make is if you mess around with crypto and you need to send money, it's not in the United States hands because the company's in Mexico City. All right? It's that simple. So that is the key feature that you can send money literally in less than a minute anywhere in the world. Whoever has the banker's card, if you have their email address, you can send the exact money, no fees taken out. That's a big thing for a lot of people that are unbanked around the world. But they would have to be able to load their card, or even if they can't load their cards and somebody wants to send them money, at least they can receive money anywhere in the world. And MasterCards, well, everywhere in the world, right? So that gives them the ability to spend it or go to an ATM machine, which that's freedom, so to speak. So that helps out a lot of people. All right. So hopefully you guys will join the Bankist program. I'm in the Bankist program. Yes, you can refer people. Yes, you do receive a little kibbles and bits if somebody orders a card. This is a plastic card. There's a metal card too. But the plastic card has tap features, right? The metal card does not. So for me, I don't really care what the card is. I just so I this card is $35. The metal card is $85. They charge $15 for shipping, just so you guys understand. But again, freedom I like because I know what country we live in, because I've had money stolen by banks who are regulated. Um, I've had brokerage accounts. I don't want to use stolen because it's not stolen. The bank with my brokerage account goes out of business. They transfer everybody who has a checking and savings account. Another bank takes those over, but they hold the funds for 3 years in the brokerage account. 3 years. People don't know. This is going on all the time. It just doesn't happen to 5 million people. It only happens to a few thousand. So when people say things, they're like, nah, that don't happen. It happens. So when you have that type of thing go on in your life, you don't really trust United States regulated environment. So when somebody says, well, what about these other countries? I'm like, so what? What's the difference? I'm just saying. I'm like, to me, there's no difference. All right. So that's why I'll give people chances, because I just don't want to take another chance with United States. They're broke. I'm not lending a friend that's broke all the damn time more money. Let's just call it what it is. And I'm not giving them my bank account information neither, nor where I have my duffel bag of cash either. Because sooner or later they're going to be like, hey, let me go get this. Okay, let's call it what it is. Be safe out here, ladies and gentlemen. You have to build the wealth, then you got to keep the wealth. Just remember that. There's people, look, there's scammers all over, right? Scammers are scammers. They try to take your stuff. There's nothing guaranteed. Everything's a risk. But there's a whole nother ball game when people are under the impression that things are regulated, and then those people that are regulated are stealing your stuff. Your government steals your stuff legally. They bust into your safe deposit box vault location. They have a warrant for one safe deposit box. They decide illegally, well, since we're here, why don't we grab everybody's stuff out of their safe deposit boxes? And then when the people call up, they go, prove it, what was in there. Now, you know what's in there: jewelry, gold, silver, passports, which now you can prove that. There's a bunch of stuff that could be in there, but they're telling you to prove it. Now, you're going to have receipts for cash? Nope. How many people are going to have receipts for their jewelry? How many people are going to have receipts for their gold, silver, precious metals, or anything else of value that's in there? It could be artworks or anything. But illegally, the government comes in, takes everybody's stuff, and then tells you, prove it. Do you know what country you live in? LA. Hint. Google it. Yeah, California kid. Get around. Again, feels like somebody's targeting people. If you ask me, just just so you know. So again, I will say a few things about America because somebody might have me misconstrued with thinking I'm against America. No, no, no. What I'm against is what America is doing to its citizens. That's what I'm against. America is one of the only few places that actually has a constitutional republic where you actually can vote until you can't, until they gerrymander, until they stop people from being able to vote by judges, like in the case of what happened with Tellerico and Jasmine Crockett, where the judge goes, hey, man, you guys moved, you told people that you were going to send them information on the precincts and where to go vote. They don't get the information until late. And so I'm going to go see a judge. The people, whoever went to go see a judge and said, hey, man, can you keep the polls open another 2 hours because of this situation where you guys created? The Secretary of State created this by having precinct changes. The judge goes, oh, yeah, you're right, man. We want everybody to vote. So, yeah. The Attorney General, Paxson of the state of Texas, gets another judge to block the first judge. So now you have a candidate who has apparently, unless something happened, their votes don't count because they put it in the bucket when that other lawsuit came in and they said, okay, every vote after 7 p.m., we're going to hold. We're not going to count them. And so when Paxson, who's a candidate himself, Attorney General, gets to get a judge to block that, so now there's votes that may or may not be accounted for candidates sitting there in America. You call that a democracy? I don't. Being able to do those shenanigans, what country do you live in? This seems like a third world country to me. That's what third world countries do, right? Just saying. So now you understand, I don't trust people to do the right thing. And I damn sure don't trust, I'll be a racist. Don't trust mediocre white dudes who has a leg up for 400 years. Dumbasses. And they're sitting there telling people what to do. And they can't even rescue people from outside the United States after they make a war happen. They leave Americans and soldiers stranded, knowing full well if you do a war in the Middle East, all the airports in the Middle East are going to close because if you're in a no-fly zone, you could be shot down. So do you think airports are going to go, yeah, man, hey, leave out of this area. Yeah, take a risk. No. They said, we ain't leaving. So now we have USA citizens, soldiers, potentially can get in harm's way because our government by mediocre dumbasses are sitting there, didn't tell people, hey guys, we're sending planes over. You need to get on the planes and leave. There's going to be an imminent war. No. Iran, you might have a problem, but at least you could have said, Iran would have been like, okay, citizens, y'all can go. Just like the hostages in 1979, black people. Do you know what Iran said? We know your history, black people. So we're releasing the black people. Just saying. Yeah, we're keeping the other ones though. We know what they've been going through for the last 400 years. We're going to let these guys go. So now we have a administration who bitched about some other stuff in our past, like under Biden when we had to come out of where was it, Afghanistan, and they said, "Oh, they didn't do it the right." These dudes who said he didn't do it the right way didn't even warn nobody, didn't even send a plane or planes to go get people out of embassies. These are the same dudes that was complaining about Benghazi, but now they don't give a damn. Embassies ran over, under siege. You're on your own. And then, of course, the guys on their side go, yeah, we don't care about none of that no more. You know, it's all good. But for 4 years, you talked about Benghazi at one embassy. And now you don't care about several embassies. It's all good. Right there, that's a deterioration of society when you have no ethics, no morals, no nothing. So, therefore, how can you expect anything else to happen that has ethics and morals and any character? So if you don't know where you live by now, you better understand there's a war on the streets, and you better figure out how you're going to protect you and your loved one and your family by learning how to make sure you can earn money down the road, regardless of where you live. And luckily, we have a stock market that's never going to go away because rich guys need stocks. They need money out of thin air because sooner or later, taxpayers won't be able to give them subsidies, tax cuts, and tax breaks, and the government's going to go out of business because sooner or later they have to tax the rich. Sooner or later, if they want to survive. And meantime, you live in a third world country, and guess what? Unfortunately, 50% of the population is in dire straits already. So, unless something changes drastically, which it will not in the next 2 or 3 years, it's only going to get worse for American citizens. And your laws are going to get starting to get a little noose around your neck because the Constitution laws that you thought you had, speaking of the boomers, they didn't do this. They put laws in place to help everybody. The people now can't blame boomers. You now allowed these mediocre dudes who want to stay in control because if they don't have control, then what are they going to do? They need to take your stuff. So trickle up is the thing that is on their mind. Taking from the treasury is on their mind. Making sure their friends get money is on their minds. Making sure you're under they're under your stress or you're under their stress. Now they can take advantage of you because you don't have any fight. You don't have any way to stop them. You don't want to go fight because you're too busy trying to survive. Dunning-Kruger effect. Dunning-Kruger effect. Go check that out. Google it. So once again, there's war out here against your mind. And unless you get your mind right and figure out who the enemy is and who's trying to help you, you better figure it out because using people against other people, that is a sign that they don't have anything to say or do. So like I said, so when somebody says immigrants are taking your jobs, they're the cause of what's happening? Hardly. But they using that and they get enough people, just like it's 1940, to agree with them, thinking that they're mediocre, person like the immigrant working in the field, or the immigrant that's doing the roofing, the immigrant that's working at the hotel, the immigrant that's learned how to be a chef, the immigrant are taking your job, when in fact, right now is proof in the pudding. A lot of people are being put away in detention, concentration camps. Why aren't Americans have all these jobs? What happened? I thought all these jobs were available for American citizens. Yeah, you don't come to find out you don't want to work for $10, $15 an hour, do you? You can't. You'd work for free basically, because that doesn't get you anywhere. Can't work for $20 an hour. And generally that's what these guys are doing. You're not going to be a roofer in the hot sun. You're not going to do cement. So where's all these people that were going to go take their jobs? The farmers are coming out of business now. Where's all the people that's going to pick their fruit? Where are they at? Farmers are filing bankruptcy left and right. Again, transportation companies, record since like 40, 50 years back. Then you got farmers filing bankruptcy, exceeding 2024 numbers. 2025 exceeded 2024 numbers. Repercussions. Boomers didn't do it. Your choices of who you wanted to represent us are the ones doing this. So can't blame anybody else. All right, let's go. Your team won. Now don't shirk from the fallout. It's not rocket science. That's why I had to go over a few things tonight so everybody understands this is not rocket science what's happening. This is intentional. And trying to blame somebody else when they're the ones setting the fire is asinine. You got to understand who's setting the fire, and then trying to set you up by gaslighting you, saying somebody else is the problem or it's their fault. You're the one that set the fire, just like you're the one that went over in Iran and bombed them. Now you're going to claim Iran was the problem. They didn't bomb nobody. They were in negotiations with you. You're the one that stabbed them in the back, and then you bombed them, and now you got nerve to be on TV talking about they got nuclear weapons. They didn't use nuclear weapons on anybody, nor do they even have nuclear weapons. So you're trying to gaslight me for what? Because you killed some girls in a school, and you're trying to gaslight me like they're the problem? I'm a black guy in America. You killed my ancestors for just walking around. So you think I'm going to believe your garbage? Like, seriously, you still ain't paid for that crap. Made amends of any sort. So now all of a sudden I'm going to believe anything you say. Okay, not me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough. I'm out. So with all that said, I love you guys very much. I appreciate you hanging in here with me tonight. Thank you so much for your support for my aunt's health. And thank you. And I'll see you guys on Friday night at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I hope. And if I'm not, then I'll be on later. Just look for the live stream. I'll put it up and it'll say like a time or upcoming. So hopefully you can join us. But go get your Bankers cards. Go learn how to trade. Candlestick Trading Bible. You can go to stopstrugglingnow.com. At the top, you can download it, the PDF, share with people, get them in the program. There's lots of YouTube videos to also help you learn a style that you may like that can help you understand things while you're reading the trading Bible. So therefore, that would come in very handy. Also, Unstoppable Domain, everybody check the chat room, find that link, get one of those, or 2 or 3 or 5 or 7. Like me, I think I have like 8 or 9. I even got my daughter's one on hold. I never sent it over to them, but I got those just in case under their names, .crypto, .nft, whatever it is. So that way in the future, we're ahead of the game already, right? So they know the rules. So I want you guys to understand. Get your credit score at 775, all right? By the end of this year is our deadline from 3 years ago. It's 2 years. Our countdown is 2 years and 9 months. At least start, because even if you get the 0% for 24-month cards, 0% for 12 months, that's still better than paying 25, 30, 35, 40% interest. Because again, the guys you voted for that's in power right now, they don't want to reduce it down to 10%, because the previous regime was trying to get it down to 10% interest on credit cards. These guys go, no, why would we do that? You're going to hurt our friend's business, our rich friend's business. Just saying. Just saying. Boomers didn't do that either. Election was a year and a half ago. Just saying. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up. Just make sure you guys protect yourself, protect your family, because you never know what's out here. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And protect yourself out here and your loved ones and your family, and try to make sure you can move forward with a solution for the future. It's going to get harder. It costs more money in the future because we're spending the money we don't have today. It's no different than your credit card. It's going to cost you more the longer you hold the balance, because there's interest on the money owed. That's how America works. Interest on the money owed. Interest on the bonds, the treasuries. That's at least 4% on the trillions of dollars owed. That ends up being X amount of dollars per U.S. citizen owed. And not all U.S. citizens have a job. So just think about, it's probably double the real number of what is each citizen is going to have to pay, which now means your grandkids, your great grandkids, or great great grandkids, if you even have a country left, because it's going to have to implode like the other empires, because we can't make enough money in our own country in order to take care of all of our citizens. So we're going to have to swipe it from the bottom 50% and move it up to the top, and the bottom 50%, good luck on the survival. Again, this is a very simple playbook. You're going to have to fend for yourself and figure out what to do. It's not going to get easier, unfortunately, but you should learn how to trade, learn how to buy wealth items, commercial real estate. People have to live somewhere. But the problem is, you're going to have to buy at a low price. So people who make $20 an hour, $25 an hour can live in your units. Just saying. That would be the prudent thing to do at this point. So hopefully I've helped a few people during this conversation tonight. I thank everybody once again. And no matter what happens out here, make sure you keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.